Okay, Ron. Or you sit down. I should sit down.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين نستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به عز وجل وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد أيها المسلمون. With Allah's name, the Merciful Benefactor, the Merciful Redeemer. All praise belongs to Allah, the God and Evolver, the Cherisher, Keeper, Sustainer of all the systems of knowledge. We seek His help. We ask for His forgiveness. We put our faith and our trust in Him. Mighty and sublime is He. I bear witness that there is nothing worthy of worship except Allah alone, the one and only. There is no like unto Him. And I bear witness that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to whom the Quran was revealed 1,452 years ago, is Allah's servant, messenger, prophet to all of mankind. We ask Allah's peace, His blessings, His highest exaltations be upon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, upon his family, his companions, the righteous all. On you, O Muslims, be peace. Assalamu alaikum. Greetings to our brothers and sisters here, Masjid Muhammad in Jacksonville, Florida. Greetings to those of you all who are joining us on our Jumah conference line. Greetings to our many viewers on Facebook Live and those who will view us also on our YouTube channel, Al Islam Worldwide Ministry. We say peace be with our Christian brothers and sisters, peace be upon you. To our Jewish brothers and sisters in the faith family, shalom, means the same greetings to you. To all of our viewers across the United States of America, special greetings to our regulars from overseas, Junaina Abdullah in Malaysia, Donald Eubanks in Mexico, Osama Amin Mohammed in the U.S. Virgin Islands, Rahim Abdul Wadud in Ghana. Brother Matthew, we got your King Matthew, I believe his name was, from Saudi Arabia. He was on with us last night. Those of you all who participate with us in Al-Islam Worldwide Ministry, he sent a message that they were viewing our program in Saudi Arabia. So greetings to him, greetings to Ajib Bilal, my friend in Albania, in Eastern Europe, and so many of you brothers and sisters in Bermuda, regular viewers in Nigeria, the United Arab Emirates, South America, and the islands. We have so many now that, and I thank Allah for it. We thank God, and it's growing. It's growing, and I think this is just my opinion, and I'm entitled to have one. You don't have to agree with it, but I think they are appreciating the sober, clear, the sober and the clear, the clarity that's coming from the United States of America about the Quran and the life of Muhammad the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I think that's what it is. They really appreciate that, and I know a lot of our brothers, particularly around the world, our brothers and sisters around the world, they heard about us. They heard about us, and some of them, they are so happy to see our community have come full circle from the days of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, God forgive him his sin and grant him paradise, and come full circle to the mainstream Al-Islam. I use that word, that's the language. Some say orthodox. Well, I don't know what that is, but we use mainstream, and a better term is the path, Sirat al-Mustaqim. See, that's the Quran, to come to the straight path. And so Imam W.D. Muhammad, the son of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he brought this community over a period of 33 years back to the Quran, back to the life example, practices of Muhammad the Prophet, that all Muslims all over the world, 1.5, 1.8 billion, whatever the number is, that all the Muslims all over the world practice. And they have completed the Hajj, Hajj Mabrur. We give our greetings to our Hajjis and Hajjat, that's feminine, to those who have completed the Hajj. They have finished, and I think they're on the way. Those who are traveling, they're on the way to Medina, Al-Munawwara, the city of enlightenment, the city of Muhammad the Prophet, that he made his home. Now that's important too. The hijrah, the migration is instructive. It's instructive for more than just the migration and immigrant migration from one city to another. It's instructive in the insights and commentary of Imam YAHYA Muhammad of a movement from one thinking, one mindset to another mindset, one social construct is the word, the language they use, to another social construct. And what is that? That Muhammad the Prophet, Yarhamukallah, that Muhammad the Prophet spent 13 years in Mecca, and there is where the religious language and knowledge was established, and mostly focused on spiritual matters, spirituality. And then the construct changed after the rising, the Mi'raj, the ascension, movement up the 7 levels, his growth. This is a sign of his growth too, symbolic of the Prophet's growth, the 7 elevations. And after he came back and came down, then the Prophet, he changed the social dynamics for the ummah, for the community, and he established the community in Medina. And that's where he's buried. I've been there. And the people of Medina, they thought he was going to leave them and go back, because he went back for the conquest. This is brief history to start out. Jumah. He went back for the, and I'm discussing this in the context of Hajj, our Hajjis in Medina. So he went back to Mecca for his Hajj, and then they say, oh, the people of Medina say, you're not coming back. You're going to leave us and go into Mecca. He said, no. It's a powerful, instructive message. of the growth and the evolution of where the community is supposed to end up. All the Muslim Ummah, the communities around the world, is supposed to end up or find their way to establishing community life, Muslim community life, called Ummah, the community in the Quran. And it is supposed to be an Ummatun Wasatun, a community that keeps the critical balance. So the Prophet in his movement was sending a powerful message for all time. I started there in Mecca, but my journey was to Medina. And Medina represents community establishment. The Mecca represents the start of spirituality. He took the spirituality with him because he's the Quran. The Quran is where he got it. He took it with him. He didn't go to the community establishment and leave the lessons of Mecca. No. He took the lessons of Mecca to Medina, and he said, here is where I will live. Community life is where I will live, and here is where I will die, in community life. So it's instructive. So the Muslims, when we go for the Hajj, the pilgrimage to Mecca, it's correct. See, the learned, they know it's correct. You're going to have a lot of spiritual experiences in Mecca. Now, you're going to encounter the merchants too. And they have a community life now established, of course. But in terms of the symbolic movement, the journey, okay, we've completed the rituals in Mecca, Mina, but mainly in Mecca, in Arafat. Now we have this purification. Where you going to take it, brother? Where you going to take it, sister? Now we're going to Medina. See? And then that's the lesson you come back home with. The spiritual growth, the spiritual purification. Where you going to take it, brother? Where you going to take it, sister? And Muhammad, the prophet, is the answer to Jesus Christ's prayer. And what was Christ's prayer in this context? Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in the heavens. So who established the kingdom on earth? Jesus did. Now they like to claim that, and it's no disrespect at all. I'm speaking facts. Where's the community that was established by Jesus Christ himself? Now, we know we have communities of Christians. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, where is the community, the government? Because the Bible gives us, say, well, the government should be on his shoulders. But it wasn't in the earth. So, where is it? Where's that community that Jesus Christ established? We know where the community that Prophet Muhammad established. The city is there. You can go to the city. So the Hajjis, they go. Let's go see the place that Muhammad established a government. Let's go see the place where he established the comprehensive principles of the Quran for the entire human life. So that's the migration. See, we take that journey. We've completed the spiritual journey. Now let's go see the city of enlightenment, Medina and the Munawwara. So that leads me right to my subject, the parable of the rock. Now, the operative word here is parable. And if you don't know what parable means, the symbol. This is a metaphor. It's picture language. And those of you all who speak Arabic, mutashabiha. Or mithal. See? Mithal. Picture language, mutashabiha. So Allah revealed to Muhammad the Prophet, prayers and peace be upon the Prophet, in the Quran, chapter 2, verse 60. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Now, don't lose sight on who the parable is given to first. And I'm going to help you. I'm going to connect it to the real world. I'm not going to leave you up in the heavens. The prophet came from the heavens. He didn't stay up there. And Christ Jesus said what? Nobody's even been up there except he who came down from it. And God said, what? And get you down from here. On earth is where you're supposed to live and make your livelihood. You're only supposed to have been up here to get your mind right and your soul right, so you can work on earth. Well, that's for Musa. Moses. لقومه فقلنا اضرب بعصاك الحجر فانفجرت منه 12 عينا قد علم كل أناس مشربهم كلوا واشربوا من رزق الله ولا تأثوا في الأرض مفسدين. Sadaqallahu al-Azim. God the Mighty spoke the truth. Now, translating this from Abdullah Yusuf Ali's translation, 2009, 11th edition. And remember, Moses. So it starts with Moses. It's being revealed to the prophet, but God is telling him about Moses and Moses' people. And Moses is also a representative of his people. And remember, Moses prayed for water for his people. Astasqa, Sakar. Now this is not ma'a. Ma'a, you don't use this for water. Say, I like uhib astasqa. No, we say uhib ma'a. I would like some water. Wastasqa, something to drink for the soul. Something to drink for the mind. And God addressed this in another part of the Quran. Say, and they think that giving the water to the pilgrims is more high in value. And it uses this word, istasqa. Sakar, giving something to quench the thirst. Didn't say ma'a, water. Because ma'a could be physical water. And in the higher reading, it could be through interpretation, water, but you have to interpret. But like literally, for water drinking, it's ma'a. Astasqa is speaking of something a little higher than that. So we said to Moses, so he praying now, look what he's praying for. He's praying for water, something that will satisfy his people's thirst. What was his people thirsting for? Obviously they had water. If they didn't have water, they would have died. So if you use your common sense, Moses is praying for something a little more than the water that's running in the Nile River, because they had the Nile. I've been on the Nile. That water was plentiful in Egypt. So it wasn't like they didn't have any water. So this is a different type of water, and this is a different type of thirst that wasn't being quenched. And it required the prayers of the prophet of God, Moses. And God is giving the prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace be upon Moses, and prayers be upon the prophet. God is giving this to the prophet Muhammad. Say, look, you need something for your people to establish themselves, just like Moses did. Strike the rock. So after praying for Astasqa, God didn't say go get a bucket. He said strike the rock. And they were hard-hearted people too. They were hard-headed and hard-hearted. Where you getting that from? Just hold on, don't go nowhere. Just be patient. I just started. Strike the rock, not with a hammer, strike it with your staff. You got the tools to work with in your hand, and it's in your right hand, not in the left. Ain't nothing crooked going on. It's all in the right hand. So God said, you got the tools, you got the staff already. So strike the rock. Bam. This is all a parable now. Then gush forth therefrom the rock. Athnata ashrata aina. Aina? Ain is perception, is the eyes, ain. And water comes through the eye, just like it does from the earth. And the eyes sit in fluid, sits in water. There came forth 12 springs flowing. Called alima, science, alima. Each group, alima, knew its source and its place for watering, its watering hole. And the Fed is meeting in Jackson Hole, coming up pretty soon here, I think this week or next week. They go into the hole to strike the rock, and they bring in the 12 springs together. Now, if you have no clue of economics and finance, that just went right over your head, but I'm gonna help you. This is Moses' people. And this is in the Torah. As it is right here in the Quran, this is in the Torah. But what put it this way. What Moses' people have the ability to do and have done is extrapolate from the Torah, from Scripture, religious sciences, spiritual principles, and make it a reality on earth. So they have 12 springs that the water flow from. I shared this with you some time ago, long time ago. 12 Federal Reserve districts. It could have been 9, 10, 5, 6, 7. You think it's an accident that they have 12 Federal Reserve districts? And I just came back from the one that's in the city that has the 11th one, Dallas, Texas, I believe. And boy, the water is flowing over there. Cash flowing everywhere. Yeah. That's what they call it, huh? Flow, the flow. See, let's see, what's the cash flow? It's from the Quran, it's from the Torah. But if you're not connected to the real world, you read this, or you just pass over it. You won't even stop and look at that one. You just pass over that. And just keep reading. You read verse 60, go on to 61, 62. You won't even stop. That will not even trigger a thought in your mind. But thank Allah for Imam W.D. Muhammad. God grant him the highest station in paradise. Each one knows its place of watering. And number one watering hole is in New York. New York. Now, if you don't believe what I'm telling you, if you have a good Jewish friend, ask them and they'll say yes. Who? Say, who told you? Who explained that to you? Say, where did your Imam get that? Say, well, he read it out of chapter 2, verse 60 in the Quran. Say, well, we have that in our Torah. Now look, remember, he prayed for astasqa, sustenance, right? Water. So now it says water, but look how it moved right away. Kullu unasin qad allama kullu unasin mashrabahum kullu washrabu min rizqillah. Once they found their place of watering where they could tap into the resources of the earth to get it flowing, God said, now that you understand that science, wakulu, and eat. So this is revelation from God to Muhammad the Prophet, prayers and peace be upon him, showing him a strategy and a stratagem of how to establish the community life in Medina. And hence, wherever you are in the world, Africa, China, Japan, Jacksonville, Dallas, Senegal, Nigeria, Mexico, Costa Rica, Cuba. It doesn't matter where you are. Look for a source of watering where you can have a stream. This is not my language. This is the language of society. Where you can have a stream, not one stream. The Quran says 12 streams of cash flow income. And once you identify those streams, God says, now, wakulu. Now you can eat. Washrabu, and drink. Min rizqillah. Now you can eat and drink from the sustenance that God has provided for you. You see it? I hope I'm making it clear. I'm not rushing it. Because I know most of you don't have time to, you're so busy. And I'm not making an excuse for you because there's no excuse. But you don't really have time to pour over these concepts and knowledge and everything. So that's what my responsibility is. I'm supposed to help you understand it. But when I give it to you, and I've said this to you 100 times or more, you should be able to take it and apply it to your life. If you can't apply it, I failed, or you weren't listening. وَلَا تَأْثَوْا فِي الْأَرْضِ مُفْسِدِينَ. Now, while you're eating and drinking, look how Allah concludes this verse to the Prophet Muhammad, praise and peace be upon him. And it's not for Muhammad, it's for the people listening to Muhammad and listening to the revelation, because the Prophet didn't do anything evil. So he says, وَلَا تَأْثَوْا فِي الْأَرْضِ مُفْسِدِينَ. Now, while you are seeking your watering places and your means of livelihood and your streams so you can eat and drink of the sustenance of God, do no mischief, do no evil, do no harm, Don't become one of the corrupt ones on earth to secure your watering hole. Well, my dear brothers from overseas, not all of you, when you come seeking your place of water and your place to eat in the neighborhoods in America, you're supposed to follow this instruction from the Quran. While you're seeking the rizqullah, the sustenance of God, you're not supposed to establish liquor stores in the neighborhood. Haram, prohibited. You say you're Muslim. You all say you're Muslims. And you come from overseas, and remember, I don't paint with a broad brush. I'm only talking to those, they say when you throw parable of the rock. When you throw a rock in the crowd, the one got hit hollers. And it's no accident that you throw rocks on Hajj. And who are you throwing them at? The three Jumah, the three devils. Somebody sent something I was reading on Facebook, and then somebody sent me a note, said that this is about a country, they say, so don't blame it on me now. I'm only repeating what the person said. I don't necessarily maybe subscribe to that because I don't know the country like that. But they apparently live there, and they say Hajj should be in Nigeria next year because there are more Satans to stone over there than in Mecca. And when I read it, I said, well, I don't know if we have enough stones in the United States to throw at the Jumah. This worse than Nigeria. And I love America. So I'm not anti-America. This is my country. I don't have another country. This is it. But the Constitution that we're reading through and going through, making connections with the Quran and Al-Islam Worldwide Ministry, you know what's in that Constitution? And we have a constitutional scholar here, my cousin, Don Gaffney. You know what's in that Constitution? Said, if and when the people find that it no longer supports, and I'm paraphrasing now, it no longer supports their needs and their well-being and security, they are entitled to change it. Make amendments to it. See? That's why we have all those amendments. So we have to act like this is our country. Yes. We can't leave the management and the running and the management of city life, governmental life, the state, and the Congress, the representatives in the Senate. We just can't leave it up to people that's walking around blind. This is our country. So our views, our ideas, and look, we're bringing back the ideas to the forefront that the founding fathers used to establish this country. And it was the Quran and the life of Muhammad the Prophet, present, peace be upon him. Read the book. Go watch our page, Al-Islam Worldwide Ministry, and see the book. I shared it with you last week. Thomas Jefferson's Quran and Islam and the founders of America. And we're going through it. We're going through it. And people all over the world, they're surprised. People all over America. What are you saying that Jefferson and Adams and Washington and Franklin and Hancock and all of them studied the Quran to come up with ideas to establish? I am definitely saying that. And I'm not the one who wrote the book. The lady's name is Denise Spellberg. Can you all please turn your phones off, please? Unless you're a medical professional, please turn your phones off. So Miss Denise Spellberg, in her book, Thomas Jefferson's Quran, she lays out the narrative. She lays out the history. Nice PhD professor, a nice European sister who has the courage to tell the truth about how this country was established. So if they borrowed from the Quran, and they did, and they were intelligent to do it. I'm not criticizing. I'm thinking those were intelligent men. And they were masons and shriners. And they borrowed from Muhammad the Prophet's life. They were intelligent to do it. So I'm establishing a base for us, a premise for us. Well, if they borrowed from our book, our source, and the nation has veered off from it, then those of us who have it have to say, hey, listen, you all need to come back to what the founding fathers established in the beginning, and the source of it is the Quran. So that's why I say we can't leave it up to them, because they're not following guidance, many of them. They're not following it. So we have to say, hey, hold up. We want to bring back what Jefferson had in the beginning. We want to bring back to this nation what Adam had in the beginning. We want to bring back what Franklin had in this nation in the beginning. We want to bring back what John Hancock had in the beginning. And you don't know what it is unless you're reading and studying. We know what it is, and God has blessed us to have it. And Miss Denise Spellberg says in the book, and there were the first Muslims in America were tens of thousands of African Muslims from the West Coast. I don't know about you, but that places a whole lot of responsibility and a sense of obligation on us to do what we're doing. Educate the public about what the Quran is, what Al-Islam is, and what it's not. So 3 Jamarat, stone on hard. Little one, they call them devils. Well, you know Satan ain't over there standing up in the form of a rock. This is symbolic. Your common sense tells you that. The little devil, boom, hit him. Medium-sized devil, boom, hit him. Rocks, you throw the rocks. And there's 7 times 7, 49 of them. And then the objective, though, is to get the big shaitan, the big symbol, the big Jamarat. And you throw the stones to get the big Jamarat. Well, I just threw something out there in the atmosphere a few minutes ago. And I know I hit the big Satan right in the center of his head. In Facebook, I haven't named anybody, so you should be comfortable. You should be all right. You don't need to cut me off because I'm not naming anybody now. I'm learning to respect your community standards. Now let's connect this to something. Same chapter of the Quran. So I gave you the parable of the rock, but look at the Quran. Look at the way the Quran teaches us now. And Imam W. Muhammad told us this, and the scholars, they understand this in the Islamic world, the Muslim world, I should say, not the Islamic world, but the Muslim world. Because there's not much Islamic about it in the Muslim world. So I have to say the Muslim world. I mean, they have large populations of Muslims. Some of them, they're trying and sticking to the religion, to the Quran, but too many. Remember, we got 1.8 billion across the world now. So you got some ideas out there in the atmosphere, and this is just human nature. That's just the way it is. We're dealing with people. You're going to have ideas away, foreign, people with their own opinions. That's why you go with the Quran, the word of God revealed to Muhammad the Prophet. So now listen to this, and we'll sit for the first part. The parable of the rock. The Quran explains itself. Tafsir Quran bil Quran. That's the highest form. Commentary of the Quran by the Quran. ثُمَّ قَصَّتْ قُلُوبُكُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ. I'm reading verse 74, same chapter 2. So it is not even but a few verses away from verse 60. فَهِيَ كَالْهِجَارَةِ rock, hijarati, أَوْ أَشَدُّ قَسْوَةً وإن من الحجارة لما يتفجر منه الأنهار وإن منها لما يشقق فَيَخْرُجُ مِنْهُ الْمَاءُ. Now here's water right here. مَاءُ وَإِنَّ مِنْهَا لَمَا يَحْبِتُ مِنْ خَشْيَةِ اللَّهِ وَمَا اللَّهُ بِغَافِلٍ عَمَّا تَعْمَلُونَ. Sadaqallahu al-Azim, God the Mighty spoke the truth. Thenceforth were your hearts hardened. The heart hardened, God says. They became like a rock. Now this just explained in another picture. The heart is like the rock. The rock is like the heart. That's what God is saying now. They became like a rock, and even worse in hardness. For among some rocks, there are some from which rivers gush forth. Others there are which, when split open asunder, send forth kindness and good sentiments from the heart. Water. And others which humble themselves, they sink out of respect. Khashyatillah. They humble themselves out of regard for God, Allah. Now it says fear here. See, that's why I say you got to learn Arabic, because fear God is throughout the Quran. You don't know if it's taqwa. You don't know if it's khashya. You don't know if it's khawfun. This one is khashya. So they humble themselves out of respect, khashyatillah, out of respect for God. And Allah is not unmindful of what you do. So here Allah connected the hearts. Now remember, this started with Moses and his people. And God is revealing it to Prophet Muhammad for his people. And I'm reading it for our people, mainly here in America. So the people that Moses had were hard-hearted people. Where we going now, Moses? What we gonna do next, Moses? I don't like that move, Moses. And Moses, he would be in prayer, asking Allah, God, what am I gonna do with these hard-hearted and hard-headed people? He said, take them on out into the wilderness and let them wander for a generation. They say 40 years. This is symbolic too. Till they mature. Huh? Till they mature. Till they mature. Ain't that Moses? Just teach them till they grow up and mature. Intellectually and spiritually. And then Joshua will come and take them into the promised land. Your job, Moses, is to strike the hard heart with your teachings, with your knowledge. Strike their hard heads and their hard minds. So God gives this as a strategy to Muhammad the prophet. And Allah says in the Quran to the prophet, because he worked with his knowledge, striking their heads, striking their hard hearts. And it's like, what is, they want to fight him every step of the way. And God says, faith has not yet entered the hard hearts of the desert Arabs. The desert had hardened them. Well, here we are. The hood has hardened us. $400 years, 246 or 250 years of slavery hardened us. Jim Crow hardened us. Civil rights movement and struggle hardened us. Hard-headed, hard-hearted. But God said, Moses, just strike the rock with your staff. Just keep teaching them. And in time, water will gush forth from their hard hearts and their hard heads. And through the generations, they'll shake off the hardening from slavery. They will shake off the hardening from Jim Crow. They'll shake off the hardening from the civil rights era. They will even shake off the hardening from black nationalism. And they will sink, they will humble themselves, khashyatillah, out of respect for God in time. And it may take 10 times 40 before they can enter the promised land. But we don't know how long, but just keep striking the rock. Allah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. With God's name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah. I witness that there is nothing worthy of worship except Allah alone, the one and only. There is none like unto him. Wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. And I witness that Muhammad the Prophet, to whom the Quran was revealed 1452 years ago, is Allah's servant, messenger, prophet to all of mankind. We greet all of you again, our honorable audience here at MASJID MUHAMMED, on our Jumah conference line, Facebook Live, YouTube channel. Assalamu alaikum. That is, God's peace be upon you. I conclude now with comments from Imam W.D. Muhammad, his business book, Islam's Climate for Business Success, on the parable of the rock, 111, page 111. Ron. Concluding now, Imam Muhammad, comment. Look to be like the tree. The tree works for its establishment. It has strong roots that penetrate deep into the ground. And philosophically speaking, that tree has studied, philosophically speaking, even the rock, and takes on the strength of the rock. The ebony tree is harder than some rocks. There are trees that can break through limestone with their roots looking for water. We don't want to be weak and have our life taken away every time the 4 seasons go by. We want to have lasting establishment. In the business world, they call it sustainability. Imam Muhammad. We must be prepared to exert our mental powers, think hard, and penetrate deep, powerful, solid, and hard to unlock concepts. Strain your brain and penetrate those concepts or problems and send your curious mind down into those rocks so you can grow up tall and strong and last year after year. The seasons will come and you'll still be standing there. You won't have to start all over again. Most trees will keep their life even during the winter. But if they don't keep their life, at least they do not lose their accomplishments. Contrastingly, the grass loses everything that grew up. Well, they call us grassroots. The grass loses everything that grew up. All that it achieved outside the earth dies during the winter season. The tree would look dead during the winter when the season is not good for it. Whatever growth it achieved during the growing season, it keeps it until the season comes for growth again. That's the tree. Then it extends on its own accomplishments. The tree does not lose what it has achieved. And every year, it gets bigger and bigger until it reaches its maturity. The Muslim wants to have growth in his or her business, and he or she does not want it lost every time a change comes in the seasons of business. You don't have to go down because it's winter for most. It can be winter for many and summer for you. Do you think these seasons affect those who control at least 80% of the world's wealth? Yes. Those who are thinking beyond the seasons may even gain during depression times. And I recall reading of the great industrialist, billionaire, one of the top billionaires in the world, Mr. Warren Buffett. He says, I make my money when there's blood on the street. That's a metaphor for saying when it's people losing, I'm winning. Things down, I'm winning. When it goes bad, I'm winning. I'm looking for steals, not deals, as y'all say all the time. So he makes his money during the tough times. Good times too, but when it gets hard, oh, he steps in, he comes in. Imam Muhammad, as I conclude, Allah says, quote, man can have nothing, that's chapter 53, 39 and 40. Man can have nothing but what he strives for, and his striving will soon produce before his eyes. He's to make a hard effort, and not just with his hands, make a hard effort with his brainstorm. End quote or unquote, Imam W.D. Muhammad. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. Our Lord, give us the best that this world has to offer us, and give us the best that the next world has to offer us, and save us from the punishment of the fires of sins. Ameen. Iqam as-salat. That means make ready for prayer.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. There is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. So make sure your lines are straight. You all did pretty good on this front row. Everybody's lying straight up. Allahu Akbar. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر السلام عليكم ورحمة الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب الفاتحة بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين تقبل الله May Allah accept our prayers. Ahmed, when are we having the culture night again?
At the end of the month.
At the end of the month?